Kirby Smart is the best head coach in America, and I don't even know if it's particularly close if I'm really thinking it through and really picking my brain and my memories and the film. And honestly, what Kirby Smart did last year impressed me a whole lot. It was similar to what Ohio State did under Ryan Day, if I'm being honest with you, where the way that they won in spite of the adversity they faced was admirable. Now, Day won the playoff. He won 3 more games than Kirby, lost 1 fewer. But he also didn't face the same schedule. And teams have up and down cycles. Ohio State has essentially been trending up on average every year since 2021. Georgia's been trending up every year on average since 2019. 2019 was the low point for Georgia. 21 was the low point for Ohio State. They've been trending up since then. And at some point, you do have to come back down to earth in either a major way, because that just happens with everyone. Even Saban lost 3 games in 2010, went 9-3. Kirby hasn't even done that since his first year, which is crazy if you think about it. They may have played the toughest schedule in college football history last year, and they almost came back and beat Alabama. They beat Florida by double digits despite Carson Beck being a moron and throwing 3 picks. And they beat Texas by double digits. Double freaking digits in Austin, with Beck turning it over, I think, like 4 times. Before we resume this segment, please take a few seconds of your time to make sure you have liked the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and for any team podcasts and playlists linked in the description, and also comment your thoughts down below in the comment section and join my Discord server via the description. All of those things I just asked you to do are completely free, and they sign you up for things related to my channel, or they don't sign you up for anything. No cost to you, and all the benefit to you because we release daily college football content here on College Football with Sam. If you want to support the channel monetarily, sign up for a YouTube membership, or check any other links in the description for my merchandise store and Patreon page. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the segment. He threw 3 picks, anywhere from 3 to 4 turnovers, I think is what Georgia had in that game. He hit him 30-15, and if not for the refs reversing a call, it may have been 30-7 or 30-8. It was insane. And then he beats him again in the SEC title game, and then they were physically beating Notre Dame with a bunch of injuries and a backup QB. It's just Notre Dame won the special teams battle, and then what made Notre Dame win by double digits on top of the special teams was the fact that the refs missed a false start on Notre Dame, called it instead an offsides and encroachment on Georgia. That helped kind of end the game sooner. But when Notre Dame recovered that fumble and threw the touchdown and then had the kickoff returned, I mean, that was kind of game over with how Notre Dame and Georgia played last year in the states that they were in. They finished 11-3, 6-2, second in the SEC, and then they won the league, second in the regular season. And Smart has a 105-19 record in his career. Just crazy, crazy stuff, if I'm being honest. And then I observe Georgia, and I think to myself, entering this year, why should people view them as anything but a top 5 team, or at least top 6? Why would they be outside the top 10? That's a question I'd love to ask Josh Pate. Why does he have them outside the top 10 entering the year? Why? So much went wrong for Georgia last year, and they bring back their entire staff. I think they finally hit in the portal, finally, at wide receiver. They returned some portal guys from last year, like Colby Young, for example, that due to a variety of reasons couldn't play. And they were just so banged up on O-line, and Beck had this unexpected drop-off to where so much went wrong for Georgia. Almost everything went wrong for Georgia. And they went 10-2 in the toughest league with the toughest schedule in the league. 10-2. And they beat Texas twice. They kicked Texas's rear in a way that no one else was capable of doing. Ohio State beat Texas, for example. But Ohio State beat Texas because of Travion Henderson and Jack Sawyer. That's why they beat them by double digits. Otherwise, they would have just beaten them, but probably not by double digits. Georgia didn't have a single player with the athleticism of Henderson on offense. They did not. Not even a player of the caliber of Judkins or Smith. I mean, Georgia's offense was nowhere close to Ohio State's, outside of being better than them at tight end and when healthy, much better on the O-line. But they were just as banged up as Ohio State in the O-line, so very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. And they didn't have the play calling that Ohio State did there either. Defensively, they didn't have what Ohio State did. Did not have the DBs. They had probably similar caliber linebackers, but they also had the, in my mind, inferior DC. I think Knowles is better than Schumann. And their D-line wasn't as good. And yet, they combined, I think, for like 15 sacks or around that or more against Texas in both games. And they had, I think, around 30 TFLs. I mean, they physically kicked Texas's rear in a way that Penn State, Ohio State, or Notre Dame could only dream of doing to a team of inferior caliber to Texas. I mean, it was crazy. Now, they were inconsistent, yet again, but that was 2024 Georgia. We're talking about 2025. And regressing to the mean for Georgia means they play closer to the ceiling they showcased in 24, in my mind, than their floor in 24. I could be wrong. But doubting Kirby Smart's a dangerous game. I've played that roulette. Josh Pate has played that roulette. Many others have played it. I am tired of playing it. I'm done. I mean, maybe I'll forget it, but I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to write it down on my show sheet right here. Don't doubt Kirby Smart. Not doing it. Actually, I'm going to write, I'm going to do something too here. I'm going to write Google Calendar below that so I can add this to my Google Calendar every day throughout the week. Just don't doubt Kirby Smart. Don't doubt Kirby Smart. It's going to be a notification for every day. Every day. Right when week 0 kicks off, it's going to every morning. Don't doubt Kirby Smart. Don't do it. And that's because they have questions on the rushing offense and questions at quarterback. Yes. And some questions on the O-line and potentially DB in terms of depth and consistency. But look at this schedule. They're minus 265 to reach the playoff, plus 300 to win the SEC. They lose that much. They had that poor of a year last year. And yet they're one of the top favorites. They're tied with Ohio State in odds to win it all, guys. Like, Vegas knows something that the people doubting Georgia do not know. They know something there. And Vegas has the best inside information in general with college football teams that you can find anywhere. They get Marshall at home week 1, so no opener with Clemson. Easy game, can probably pull out your starters at halftime against Marshall week 1. You get Austin Peay week 2. They traveled to Tennessee week 3, but Tennessee this year will be much worse than Tennessee last year. Georgia will gain a margin on Tennessee relative to the 2024 season because Tennessee loses Nico, lose their entire defensive front for the most part, lose a lot on the O-line, and they do not recruit or develop at the level that Georgia does. Week 4, they get a bye. They finally get Alabama in Sanford Stadium for the first time since 2015, and they will be favored in that game. They host Kentucky week 6. They travel to Auburn week 7. They host Ole Miss week 8. Ole Miss is going to get a whole lot worse than they were last year. They get, in week 9, a bye. They play Florida neutral field week 10, play at Mississippi State week 11, host Texas week 12. Again, getting Texas at home compared to on the road or even neutral field is huge. Host Charlotte week 13, and they play Georgia Tech, not even on the road, neutral field because of what their former athletic director Jay Batt did in terms of a deal to get Tech more revenue. They play them neutral field in week 14. This team, bringing in the second overall recruiting class in 2025, factoring in the portal and high school, and returning what they do. Look, I know, I am well aware that Georgia does lose a lot. I am also aware, though, that Stockton got starts or major playing time in exclusively big games, so that should help. I know that they return Nate Frazier, who, if he improves his ball security, will be a damn good running back. They bring in Josh McCray from the portal. All these players I mentioned, by the way, I have in my all-SEC teams. Some honorable mention, some higher than that. Drew Bobo, thinks going to be a good center. Micah Morris and Monroe Freeling are going to be awesome, guard and tackle respectively, and I think that Daniel Calhoun and Ernest Green III, some other starters, will be competent. I look at their wide receiver room, and they got Dylan Bell, who's okay, and you need that because last year they didn't even have okay. He's one of their better receivers. They got Zachariah Branch from the portal. They're bringing back Colby Young, and they bring in Noah Thomas from the portal. This might be the best Georgia wide receiver room in terms of depth that I can remember a Georgia team having in the 2020s. Now, you don't have a Ladd McConkey on the team. You don't have an A.D. Mitchell. But you have probably 3 maybe good or great wide receivers where even among the best Kirby Smart teams in 21-22, you really only had 2 great wide receivers. Or 3 in 21, but that was when Pickens was finally healthy at the end of the year. So these receivers can stay healthy. It could be the deepest Georgia wide receiver we've seen in some time. Oscar Delpin, Loskin, Lucky had somewhat inconsistent performances last year. I'd expect that to improve under elite tight ends coach Todd Hartley. You look at D-tackle. I love Christian Miller, Xavier McLeod, and Jordan Hall there, and they have depth too behind them. Gabe Harris Jr., Elo Medozi, and Joseph Jonah Ojanye. I love them. Have them on my All-SEC team as well. Raylan Wilson, C.J. Allen, Chris Cole might make up the best linebacker room in America, if not for Texas. I like K.J. Bolden at safety and Dalen Everett at corner. They also, in my mind, Georgia has the best special teams unit in the country. Peyton Woodring at kicker, Brett Thorson at punter, and then Zachariah Branch is the return specialist. I mean, it's a lethal special teams unit that can help Georgia win some close games like they had to last year and like they may have to again this season. For context, I have not released my record prediction for Georgia yet, but I do have them winning 10 or 11 games and reaching the college football playoff. And my reasoning behind that, besides how they recruit and develop and the staff continuity, a huge part of that reason is Kirby Smart. Do not underestimate him. He will win in 2025 because, number one, the schedule is easier. You get Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas at home, and Tennessee is a new QB. And Tennessee does not have the talent that you have if you're Georgia. I also imagine that injuries won't be as severe. Injuries were horrible for Georgia last year. Part of it was the schedule. Part of it was probably just straight up injury luck. I don't think the Bulldogs could get their O-line or running back room set all year last year, and I don't think those rooms or any other room will suffer injuries at a worse rate than they did last year. The odds of Stockton or whoever their starting QB is getting hurt in the same way Beck did at the end of the year is unlikely. Same with all the O-line and running back inconsistency and injuries they had. I think Beck was wildly turnover prone, and I think that Stockton or Puglisi, whoever they start there, and if Puglisi starts, I'd also view him as an all-SEC QB, probably has better passing potential than Stockton does, but scrambling potential, I don't know enough about him to comment on that. Regardless, I think that there will be less turnovers total and more consistency at QB than with Beck last year. Probably won't get the same upside, but I don't think you'll see the same floor either. That nearly cost Georgia 4 games total. Georgia has staff continuity. They return all their 2024 starters, and most of them are elite. And then last but not least, he's the best head coach in college football. Because for Kirby Smart to win the SEC and go 2-0 versus Texas with the roster limitations, that was impressive. The only thing you can argue that may have been more impressive is what Ryan Day did. And Day had a better OC last year, a better DC, and an older roster. And a roster that didn't deal with quite as many injuries, and the regular season schedule was easier. So, I mean, Day and Smart, I think, are the 2 best coaches in America. I don't think anyone other than Smart is clearly ahead of Day. I also don't think that Day is at Smart's caliber, at least right now. He is the best game manager in football. To have 3 games where Beck throws 3 interceptions and has 3 or more turnovers, and then to go 2-1 in them, and the one loss is by 1 score, and the 2 wins are by double digits, that's insane. That's absolutely impressive. There were moments last year where it looked like Georgia had the number 1 defense, and where it looked like their offense had some consistency. Obviously, in the long run, wasn't consistent, wasn't fluid on either side of the ball. But I think this year you will see more consistency out of Georgia. I am high on them. You should be high on them. If you think they won't be top 10, check yourself. Now, you picking them to miss the playoff is a different story. Georgia can go 9-3. Absolutely. I mean, they can go 9-3 and actually improve in a power rating sense compared to last year, because they did win some close games. So if they improve power ratings wise, but just lose all their close games instead of splitting them, They can miss the playoffs. I mean, I don't think picking Georgia to miss the playoffs is a bold prediction, but saying they won't be top 10 in terms of quality, because you can be top 10 in quality, lose 3 games, and be left out. That happens. That happened last year. Ole Miss and Alabama were top 10 teams at the end of the year, especially Ole Miss. And I think it'll happen again this year. Could be to Georgia. Picking them to not be top 10 is an entirely different story. If Georgia is not a top 10 caliber team, with this schedule, they could go 8-4. They could even go 7-5. And I don't think 7-5 is possible. I would say 8-4 with Georgia is even unrealistic. And Smart's the best coach in America, in my mind. So to doubt Georgia, I think will only lead to your peril. Thank you for watching College Football with Sam. Make sure that you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and team playlists and podcasts in the description. Join the free Discord server where we talk college football 24/7, and have commented your thoughts down below. Check out the description for any ways you can support the channel monetarily. Everything else I've asked you to do is completely free, and your support means the world to me. We're trying to become the next big thing on college football YouTube. 6-figure subscribers, maybe 1 million one day. I think we can do that. And also check out any videos or playlists, anything in these columns right here, where there will be videos and playlists. Yeah, you get the point. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.